Shalizel, Shamazel, House and Pedigree Incorporated.
Hey, fellow travelers, Mike here with Walter's World, and today we're here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin for the don'ts of visiting Milwaukee. And no, don't pass up seeing the Fonz when you're in town and reliving some of those 70s and 80s TV shows that are here, because you get a few views, whether it's Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, or just hanging out with the Fonz.
Shalizel, Shamazel, House and Pedigree Incorporated.
Now, when you're here in Milwaukee, I want to tell you, you're going to walk around town and enjoy it, but you're going to want to don't forget to head out by the lake. It is a gorgeous view when you go down to the lake, okay? So you have that there. But when you go down to the lake, a few thoughts I have for you. One, don't forget to go to the Milwaukee Art Museum. It is fantastic. It's not just cool to look at from the outside, but the collection inside is incredible. Also, you want a little bit of fun with the sciencey kind of stuff, you got Discovery World right here, which is fun for all ages. And if you got your kids, the Children's Museum is right there. So you have all these things just right here for it. But the thing is, I want to tell you, when you come here to Milwaukee, don't expect everything to be open Mondays and Tuesdays. You know, a lot of places, it's, Mondays museums are closed and restaurants are closed. Milwaukee, especially downtown, a lot of times things are closed on Monday and Tuesday, at least sometimes the year. So it's really important that you don't forget to check the schedules for the place you want to go to so you don't miss out. Or just spend more time here and you'll be fine. But honestly, the museums are here really good. And it's not just these ones right here. You have things throughout the city. If you want to go see the conservatory, the domes, okay, so it's basically you have these domes. It looks like Biodome from the old, 90s movie. But inside, they have plants from all over the world, okay? You want to check that out. The conservatory, the domes, as they call it, you have that here. If you're not sure what it is, it's out by where the Brewers play. So if you want to go video game, you can do that. Also, the Milwaukee Public Museum, fantastic natural history museum, if you want to check that out. The Pabst Mansion, to see a historic mansion of one of the, the brewers that made Milwaukee a lot of money over the years. There's a decorative arts museum. Heck, the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame Museum is here as well. But I think another museum I want to mention when you do come here is, don't think you have to be a motorhead to really enjoy going to the Harley-Davidson Museum. Because Harley-Davidson's from here, and they have an incredible museum. We're talking hundreds of bikes in there, and the history of it. It's actually really, really cool. Honestly, you get a chance, don't pass up coming to the Harley-Davidson Museum. It's easy to get to from downtown. They've got plenty of parking if you're going to be here. What's cool is you have all these Harleys, hundreds of Harleys you can see, including the oldest Harley-Davidson out there, the one. You got to see that when you're here. But it's a really cool experience. And if you ever want to get any Harley-Davidson gear, they have a great shop as well. So come on and check out the Harley-Davidson Museum when you're here in Milwaukee. There's lots of museums, a lot of things you can enjoy around the city when you are here in terms of artwork, in terms of museum. Even just checking out the artwork around town, it's really great, okay? So don't think it's just hitting the lake and going on the Riverwalk and seeing the bronze Fonz and maybe having a few beers and brats. There's a lot of culture here as well. Now, if you're looking for the bronze Fonz, he's on the Riverwalk, and you don't want to pass up the Riverwalk. Literally, you can come here from the Fonz, you can go all the way to Lakefront Brewery, you can go all the way up there. It's a beautiful walk, you see great architecture, it's fun to do. But I want to tell you this, don't think the river is just the Fonz and the Riverwalk. You can also do things like, renting a boat or a kayak and going along here. You can do one of the tours that's going behind us, yes, to take a tour along the river and do that as well. So it is a fun thing to do. So if you're here in Milwaukee, it's known as Beer City. And I got to tell you this, don't pass up visiting some of the breweries. No, don't think Schlitz and Pabst are still here, that I ain't here anymore. But there's still lots of great local brews you get when you're here, and you can do brewery tours and have a few. Lakefront Brewery is probably the most popular one, but you can go around and have really great beers when you're here. Also, you can get really great bratwurst when you're here, so don't pass up those brats either. What I think it's important to say is, don't miss out on the kind of immigrant food that's here in Milwaukee, because Milwaukee had a lot of German, immigrants coming here, a lot of Polish immigrants coming here, so you can have really good German restaurants. Going to Mater if you want to do that, the old German beer hall. The pretzels here, yeah, don't pass up on that. That's going to be your go-to beer snack to go with. So you have that. But also there's the Polish as well. So you have the Polish sausages you can get when you're here are really great. The paczkis, those the jelly-filled donuts, you can get those. There's all kinds of great stuff you can have when you're here. And the immigration food is not just German and Polish. You can get Ethiopian, you get Greek, you get all kinds of really good food when you are here. And when I think about food in Wisconsin, there's a couple things you don't want to pass up when you are here. One, don't pass up the cheese curds. It is something you need to have, whether you have them with a beer or with a butter burger or just enjoying it by itself. Those fried cheese curds, so good when you're here. You don't want to pass that up. But also, you don't want to pass up the frozen custard. Cream City, right? Well, hey, you gotta have the creamy deliciousness of frozen custard. You go to Leon's, there's tons of other frozen custard places around town you can go to, but it is quite tasty.
Don't miss out on Leon's frozen custard. Holy cow, this is the creamiest, smoothest, silkiest custard I have ever put in my mouth, y'all. Don't miss it.
So as Milwaukee is called Beer City, obviously beer is going to be coming into some of our zones, right? So I'm going to tell you this. Don't miss out on going to some of the breweries when you are here. Probably the most popular one for people to go to these days is Lakefront Brewery. They got good stuff there. Also, of course, you get your cheese curds and your pretzel when you're here, just like in all the kind of brewery kind of things. You can have that, but this is really cool. If you're wondering where it is, it's more on the north side of the city. If you're on Brady Street, you're going to be doing your shopping or getting some like the little eateries there. You just come across the river. It's right here because don't think Lakefront Brewery is on the lake. It's actually on the river. But that's really cool. But there's lots of breweries you can go to. And I know, sadly, Pabst and Schlitz aren't made here anymore. But you can see Schlitz Park. There's a nice little mural there that's kind of fun to hang out at and do things. But you have so many breweries around town you can go to, craft breweries, microbreweries and stuff, that it's kind of a fun thing to do when you're here. And the tradition of it, even if you want to like relive your Laverne and Shirley, Schmeigel, you know, Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated for those old farts like me, you can do that when you're here, so it is fun. But don't pass up on the brewery tours. Even if you don't drink, you can still learn a lot from it because the beer industry has been a very important part of Milwaukee, so don't miss out on it, all right? And don't forget to be smart when you have a few beers when you are here. So you're coming to Milwaukee, don't forget to go to the Milwaukee Public Market. When you're in there, there's all kinds of little shops, whether you want sweets, whether you want drinks, whether you want bowls. There's all kinds of food things you can get when you're there. You want to pick up some wine, you pick up some silly t-shirts. They have that there, so it's kind of a fun thing to do. I know Liam, when we were in there, is like, Dad, why doesn't every city have a public market like this? I'm like, I don't know, buddy, but it's one of those things you really should visit just to walk through, but just to grab a snack or two. Maybe you want to get a cookie shaped like Wisconsin, or maybe you want to get something else, but that's one of the things you're really going to enjoy. And the thing is, when you come down to the Milwaukee Public Market, it's kind of the beginning of the historic Third Ward. So I got to say this, don't miss out on coming to the historic Third Ward because, yes, you have the public market, but there's all kinds of nice like restaurants, shops. There's some rooftop places you can go to, place to grab drinks. There's also, this is where Summerfest is, okay? Don't forget about Summerfest when you come into Milwaukee in the summer. Basically a few weekends, like end of June through the beginning of July, each weekend, there are tons of musicians that come here, tons of concerts going on down here in the historic Third Ward. And you want to do that because it's really kind of a fun thing. It's one of the biggest music festivals in the world you're going to have when you're here. They have a good time with it, but just wander around the historic Third Ward. It's just a fun thing to do. But for me, my favorite part is coming to the Milwaukee Public Market. Also, you go to the State Park, the Lakefront State Park. You can go there as well if you want to kind of get away from it all and have the lake. But honestly, it's a fun place to be. It's a really fun place to go. So don't miss out on that historic Third Ward. Another thing I got to tell you is don't miss out on the water fun when you are here in Milwaukee. Yes, you can rent boats. You can go on boat tours that'll take you along the river. They can take you out onto the lake. You can hit some of the beaches. Yes, there's beaches by here you can go to as well. So you can enjoy the water when you're here, hence where a lot of those mosquitoes come from, if you know what I'm talking about. But honestly, it's really nice, and that breeze that comes off really makes the summers a little bit easier to bear. So word of warning when you're coming up here to Milwaukee, if you are from Chicago, just know that they don't necessarily really like the fibs, the friendly Illinois buddies. Yeah, so if you're from Illinois or Chicago, just know your license plate, sometimes they might look at you funny, but they're still nice people. But yeah, something to kind of think about. Also, I do want to tell you, when you do come here to Milwaukee, don't think Milwaukee is like the rest of Wisconsin. I mean, the people are friendly, not quite as friendly. It's a big city. But I think the big difference is actually kind of a safety thing when you are here. You do want to pay attention if you're in downtown, south side of the city, all kinds of stuff. So do be aware of that. For example, like our valet at our hotel last night got robbed while we were there. So we had to deal with the cops at 3 o'clock in the morning. So just know that you do need to pay a bit more attention here when you are in Milwaukee than the rest of Wisconsin. But it's still nice people. But yeah, don't think it's just like Wisconsin. Now, another thing you're going to notice when you're here in Milwaukee is don't miss out on all the incredible architecture in the downtown. You know how many downtowns in the United States have kind of like wiped out the historic building? It's all this soulless steel and glass. You don't have, well, you have some of those here, but honestly, downtown Milwaukee still has incredible architecture, incredible artwork throughout the city. I mean, sometimes it's silly things like ladybugs on the side of a building. Sometimes it's historic buildings that are around, and you just kind of take it all in. You're like, wow, this is a really beautiful downtown area, and so you want to enjoy that. But the thing is, not just the architecture downtown. When you go through the city, the churches. And when you're driving in the highway, you will see some incredible churches when you're here. But taking out the architecture, the art around the city, the churches, all kinds of stuff, you really see why the people have so much pride in their city, because it still looks fantastic. So when you go around, don't forget to look up and take in the architecture of the city, because honestly, Milwaukee, you've done a fantastic job, my friends, of keeping this city beautiful. Now, public transportation goes to a lot of places here in Milwaukee. You're probably not going to use a lot of it, but one thing I will say is don't pass up the free hop when you are here. There is a public transportation thing here in the downtown you can use that's free, so don't be afraid to hop on and get to different parts, whether you're going from the historic Third Ward, or you're coming up here to kind of like the East Town, and coming up here, or you're going to the Milwaukee Art Museum. It'll get you around this area pretty easy, so don't think you have to pay for it. That one you don't have to pay for, so remember the hop. So when you're at the public market or anywhere around Milwaukee, don't forget to get a Bloody Mary. They're quite famous for their Bloody Marys here. Not for necessarily the flavor, but for all the stuff that comes on top, because don't think it's just a drink, it's actually a meal. So mine comes with a bratwurst slider, bacon, celery, sausage, of course, because we're in Wisconsin, and of course cheese curds with some extra cheese. So don't pass up the Bloody Mary in Milwaukee.
Mark?
And there's my order. So also another food don't I have for you is don't forget to grab a brat or two when you are here in Milwaukee. Yes, you have some fun stuff on it. Make sure you get the good mustard on it. But brats are a big thing here, so don't miss out on it. Also, when you are here, if you're getting tired of all the beer, which I don't know how you can in the Bloody Marys, don't forget, they actually have a locally made soda, the Sprecher. Get the root beer when you're here. That is one thing you don't want to miss out on. It's got a little bit more of a kick, and I find it better than the traditional, mass-produced root beers. So you can have that, and they have other things you can get here as well. But honestly, you're going to eat and drink well when you are here, so don't worry about that. But I also want to tell you, don't think it's just bratwurst and German food and stuff, because there's actually some fine dining here as well. So you can eat pretty well, too, no matter what kind of food you want. We've had Ethiopian when we're here. We've had Greek food. We've had French food. All kinds of great stuff. So don't just think it's just brats and beer when you're here, all right? Now, another don't I have for you is don't think it's just German and Polish, immigrants that came here that influenced the food and the culture here. There's also a lot of Italian immigration that came as well. So you can get some really good Italian food. And yes, you'll see some really flat, crispy pizza when you are here. I mean, you can't go wrong with the pizza in Milwaukee either. Lots of styles. We have some good stuff, but the Italian food is good as well. And honestly, I'll tell you, if you want to look for a good Italian market, Glorioso's here on Brady Street. Honestly, they've got the real deal pastas, cheeses, meats, snacks. It was like going to the grocery store in Italy. It was fantastic. But also what I say with this market really represents, don't go check out other markets when you are here in Milwaukee, because yes, I know I talked about the public market, which is awesome, but there's also smaller markets around town. You can go visit farmers markets and stuff, Italian markets like Glorioso. So don't miss out on those. You really kind of miss out if you're only doing the beers and brats. Go do some more. Now, I know as I've been going through these don'ts of Milwaukee, a lot of them are more basically just do's and don't forget to do's kind of things, but there are actually a few don'ts that are really serious don'ts, or ones that I really think I should mention. And one is don't come here in the winter. Look, it gets cold when you are here. Lake effect is legit. You want to be careful. It gets cold. The snow, the ice on the roads. It's not fun to drive here. But for me, what gets it the most when you're here in the winter is the darkness. Because when you're here in the wintertime, we're talking 4:35 in the afternoon, it's dark. And you're like, whoa, I just got out of work, or I just got out of a museum. Is it time for bed? You do have that. So that's kind of a dump. But the thing is, though, on the other side, in the summertime, it's wonderful. It's hot when you're here. It's light until late. You can enjoy things like Summerfest and go to the beer gardens. That's great. But in the winter, yeah, not so much fun on that side. Also, don't forget some bug spray. I know usually when you think of going to big cities, there's not a lot of bugs. However, if you're going to be going to the beaches, you're going to be going around and doing things, enjoying the water, the mosquitoes do come out, and they do like to eat the tourists, because I think it's all the grease and the happiness and the cheese makes us tasty tourists, so they come and get us. So don't forget that bug spray when you go out. And when you're here in the summertime, also, don't forget the sunblock, because yes, it is nice here in the summertime. I do want to say, for eclectic bars and stuff, don't pass up Brady Street, because there's tons of different bars here, restaurants, all kinds of stuff you can enjoy. And it's definitely a different vibe than other parts of the city, so don't miss out on it. Something I appreciate here in Milwaukee is don't think you're going to get price gouged too much when you're parking. So much cheaper to park here than in some other big cities in the U.S., so that's kind of nice. And what's cool is when you drive around here, don't think it's the crazy traffic like in places like in Chicago or even going to St. Louis. The traffic's actually manageable here in Milwaukee, so you can drive around, you can see those beautiful churches when you go by, explore the neighborhoods, and find affordable parking. So hey, so another don't I have for you when you're here in Milwaukee is if you're from Illinois, don't tell them you're from Illinois. I've actually met people while I'm talking and they go, oh, where you're from? And I'm like, oh, Southern Illinois. And they just literally mid-sentence stop, go, huh? And it kind of ends the conversation. So be like, oh, I'm also from the Midwest. If I make your life a little bit easier here in Milwaukee. So if you're going to be driving up from Chicago, don't forget about a half hour south of Milwaukee, you've got Mars Cheese Castle. Right over here, you literally can get the best cheese curds in the world. As they say, they are really good. As Liam said, it's more like a funnel cakey kind of cheese curdy tastiness. Really nice. But all the silly Wisconsin stuff you want from, pajamas with cheese on them, or you want to get the cheese head hat, or a sword to beat your mom with if you'd like. They have all the stuff there. We get good Bloody Marys here too, because there's a bar and tavern on the other side. But if you want to get the sausages, you want to get the spotted cow beer, you want to get the cheese curds to take home, don't forget to stop at Mars Cheese Castle. It's a tourist mecca at the end of Wisconsin.
J for Jocelyn.
J for Jocelyn, or C for Caleb, or L for Liam, or part of an M for Mark. So whether you're going to Maynard's, you're on Brady Street, or wherever you are in Milwaukee, I hope you have a great time. And if you have other don'ts that people should know when they come here to Milwaukee, please put in the comment section below so travelers have a better time when they come to this beautiful city. And I wish you all the best. I'll say bye from here in Milwaukee. Cream City, or Beer City if you prefer.